up to play because they've gone to the Super Bowl and they've been deep 6 or 7 the last 7 years. They've gone to 6 Super Bowls. How can they even function? Just because you think something, that doesn't mean you have to say it. I'm not in the business of excuse making. Bro, just keep that to yourself. Hey, we need to be better. We have some injuries. I need to play better. Guys need to play better. But when you start to fatigue and tired, bro, nobody trying to hear them excuses, and you want me to pay you $300 million a year. I wish I might.
I agree with Shannon again, 2 for 2, not sharp at all. Here's what, to piggyback off of what Shannon said, it's really, really this simple if you listen in Brock Purdy. Were you guys, as San Francisco 49ers, members of the National Football League, subjected to anything different than the other 31 teams are subjected to? If that answer is no, then what the hell are you talking about? It makes absolutely no sense for you to articulate that publicly, because what you're doing is using that as an excuse, and you're not recognizing that he's really inviting more scrutiny, because now it's, why were you tired? What the hell were y'all doing that had y'all so tired, that y'all were so ineffective compared to the other teams who made the playoffs and competed and looked a hell of a lot better than y'all spent the year looking? Now you've invited those questions simply because of that statement.
Yeah, it's not sharp. And the point of the exercise is to have sustained success, to routinely compete for championships. Well, Brock Purdy, the NFL schedule ain't changing. As a matter of fact, if anything happens in the foreseeable future, you're going to get more regular season games.
Yes.
So you're going to be playing in more football games.
At 18.
Exactly. And for a guy that I'm going to guarantee over $200 million to, I'm going to need for him to set the tone a little bit better for my franchise than what Brock Purdy did on that podcast.
Shannon, like you said, he wish he might. I mean, damn, you're looking for your money and you're going to say that.
I got one more. This morning, Steelers coach Mike Tomlin was asked how he'd feel if Mason Rudolph was a starter week 1.
That's why we brought him back. I'm comfortable with that, man. We've been there before. He's a very capable guy.
Stephen A. Sharpe or not Sharpe?
Clear.
Sharpe or not Sharpe? From the ground.
Oh, my gosh.
It's not sharp. Go to Shannon.
That's not sharp at all. Okay, if he was what you thought he was, why did you let him go in the first place? You see, I look at the situation like this. It's like love is like an eclair. Once it goes cold, it can't be reheated. Once you move on, what you bringing him back for? If he was what you thought he was, you would have never let him go. At that position, you got the quarterback that you believe that can get you to where you want to go, and you let him go. Come on, Mike Tomlin, that's not sharp at all. Nobody believes that.
Guys, what's he going to say, though? If that's his option, what is he going to say? He might not have anything else.
Well, fair, Molly. You know how much we love Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
But you haven't won a playoff game since 2016. And the Steelers faithful got to look forward to Mason Rudolph in a division that has Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. And that's your answer?
Stephen A. is a high-character guy. What would you like him to say? What is he going to say? We can't win there.
We're still exploring all of our options. It's a long way before the season starts. We'll get back to y'all.
You can't do that. Not if Mason
Yes,
Rudolph.
you can.
What if Mason Rudolph ends up being your guy and then you're dogging him publicly? Is that who Mike Tomlin is?
Well, here's the problem, Molly.
If he was your guy, you wouldn't let him go.
But here's the problem, though. Mike Tomlin can lie to us and say that they're comfortable with Mason Rudolph for the starting quarterback for the rest of the season. You know who we can't lie to? The rest of those guys in the locker room. When Cam Hayward says that we're in a state of urgency, having Mason Rudolph as QB1 week 1 does not reflect a state of urgency. And I'm sorry, there's no world in which the Pittsburgh Steelers as an organization can believe that Mason Rudolph can get them to where they want to go when the most games that this guy has ever started in any season in his NFL career is 8. It's a 17-game regular season.
It's not like he was like, can't wait. We're going to kill him. He handled it with class. He's in a tough spot, just like your Steelers. Are my Giants in a better situation than your Steelers?
No.
About damn time.
You see the way
we closer to getting the quarterback than they are. We closer to getting the quarterback than they are.
Say something. What's up, Shannon?
Yeah, what's up, Shay?
Run that video back. Look how Mike Tomlin was sweating. He was lying so bad he was sweating like he was interrogated. Like the FBI had him on the hot seat.
I told you he was going to.
Run that clip again. Look at Mike Tomlin. Look at him sweating. Look at him. Does that sound like a man that believes that? Look how he's sweating.
He looks stressed. That's what I said.
It looked like he's trying to beat
Exactly.
Hey, it looked like he's trying to beat the
Taking
case.
the high road, folks. All right, come.
Yeah, they're really not in a hurry. The Steelers really don't have like a pivot that has any urgency to it, right? If Aaron Rodgers tells them no, is Carson Wentz or Joe Flacco going to be that much better than Mason Rudolph? You know, so they're not going to push Aaron Rodgers for an answer for fear that will make the answer no. So they'll give him the time that he needs. It doesn't seem like he has another option out there other than retirement, so they're not worried about losing him to another team. Little nitty-gritty kind of inside baseball thing here, but if they wait until the Tuesday after the draft, so 4 weeks from tomorrow, signing Aaron Rodgers would not hurt them in the compensatory draft pick formula. They'd be able to pick up some extra draft picks in the 2026 draft. That could be part of the calculation as well now. It could be part of the delay. But Aaron Rodgers weighing Steelers versus retirement, I guess, and the Steelers looking at quarterbacks in the draft regardless of what happens there.
Okay, Tim, give me your thoughts on not only what you heard from Mike Tomlin, but what do you think is going through Aaron Rodgers' mind?
Yeah, well, I think what we heard from Mike Tomlin is, look, we're interested in him, but we're not moving heaven and earth for him, which is really consistent with what they've said all offseason. They wanted to re-sign Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. They weren't able to do either of those things, so they turned to the next level of free agency, which is definitely not a priority. And then I think from Aaron Rodgers' perspective, because there's not going to be money that, protects him from, other people on the roster being his eventual replacement, he probably wants to see if they're drafting somebody. And if they draft a quarterback in the first round, then it most likely is not a scenario where he wants to go be the starting quarterback. Think of what happened in Atlanta last year, and Kirk Cousins had signed a massive contract. So I think Aaron Rodgers is probably trying to protect the situation that he goes into. And so he's going to be patient with it. And then as for the Steelers, look, I think they may hang around and figure out if they do, in fact, get someone in the first round they like.
Go ahead, Gross.
Yeah, I did ask Mike Tomlin directly this morning, has that come up? Yeah, your plans in the draft as a team at quarterback, has that come up in your conversations with Aaron Rodgers or in his deliberations? And Tomlin's answer was, we have not discussed that at all. So take that for what it's worth.
I don't see how that's a factor. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to be 42 years old. I don't see how them bringing in somebody for the future is a non-negotiable. For a guy like him, he has to understand, even if you go get a first-round draft pick, typically they can wait a year, or his last replacement that came in waited 3 years. He waited 3 years. So I don't see where that would be a deterrent. The reality is that he's going to a place that he doesn't have to project getting them to the playoffs. They've done that. They got that part covered. They need somebody when they face a